We are back again. We are back again on the Sick Podcast, Steeler Crazy. As always, I am Jay York Football. Alongside of me is Mic'd Up Sports One. And man, we just had some breaking news come across the desk. Mike Williams is a Pittsburgh Steeler. What do you say, Mike?
Yeah, I hate to start the show with a little bit of negativity, and we have a great guest on today who's going to help break this down for us because she's very in tune with the New York Jets. But my first reaction is I'm glad they got a warm body, but I think they could have done a lot better.
Dang.
I think ultimately the goal when you wait out this entire process is to force the other team to, kind of give in and not take the pick ultimately that they wanted maybe a month ago. A 5th-round pick feels really, really high. It's the same thing the Chiefs got DeAndre Hopkins for, who I think would have been a massive upgrade. Williams has like 10 catches on the year. PFF has him ranked like 108th out of 130th. I'm not confident in his ability to separate. I'm happy that the Steelers did something, but from an opportunity cost standpoint, I wish they would have upgraded with somebody a lot better than Williams, and that's my take.
Dang, there you have it. Well, before we get to it, and we have a great guest, as Mike just said, we're going to shout out to the people over at Manta Sleep. I have that sleep mask right there if you want to pop that up. This is the only mask designed and optimized for the deepest sleep possible. Whether you're traveling, surprising your best friend for his 35th birthday in Fort Lauderdale, it's a great thing to take with you. As always, it's sleek, it's simple, machine washable, everything you need to get that 8 hours of sleep and keep going. Mantasleep.com. Be sure to use our code 6Steelers. Again, that's 6Steelers for 10% off. Mike?
Yeah, I want to talk about DraftKings Sportsbook a little bit, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. It's the number one place to bet touchdowns. If you're new to DraftKings, try betting on something simple, of course, like a player to score a touchdown. Maybe Mike Williams for the Pittsburgh Steelers gets in the action this Sunday. So make sure you go to DraftKings Sportsbook and make your pick. Here's the reason to do it. Customers do a touchdown dance when you bet $5 when you bet $5, you get 200 in bonus bets instantly. That's absolutely incredible. If you use our code SICK Sports, 200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. The crown is yours at DraftKings.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas. 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/ftball.
There you have it. Sammy, Juliana, take it to the end zone. Let's get to our guest.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. Steelers Crazy.
Harris Smith shields. Blackout. Polamalu takes it home. Super Bowl 43. Pittsburgh might be bound for that thanks to number 43.
The sickest Pittsburgh Steelers podcast. Sports entertainment like no other. It's gonna be sick.
All right, let's rock and roll. She's been super patient with us, and we greatly appreciate that. She, of course, is a sports betting expert, just an overall NFL expert, a Jets expert as well. As we mentioned, we're excited to bring her on the Sick Podcast today. It's none other than Emily. Kate, how are you?
I'm great, thank you. Thank you for having me. Excited to be here, especially after what just happened.
Yeah,
for sure. I love that. Love that background, by the way. You're a big Warriors fan, right? I saw on your X or Twitter that they're crushing it so far, right? 5-1, 6-1.
Yeah, 6-1, but we got the Celtics tomorrow, reigning champs. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, that'll be an interesting test for sure. It's very interesting so far. No Klay Thompson and still winning some basketball games. But folks aren't here to talk Warriors. We're here to talk, of course, the NFL big picture, a little bit of Steelers mixed in. And I want to start with Mike Williams. So you're a Jets fan?
Yes, okay. Unfortunately.
Unfortunately, I know it's been a rough couple of decades. What are your thoughts on Mike Williams in general? Obviously, he's now Pittsburgh Steeler.
I think the player that he's been with the Jets isn't reflective of the player that he can be. It's difficult when, Garrett Wilson leads the league in targets, so he wasn't seeing the ball much, also coming off of injury. They go and get Devontae, so I kind of feel like he was kind of pushed to the side, and he's way more capable than what you've seen with the Jets. I think you guys got a dog, honestly.
Really?
That's
Okay.
good to hear.
It's interesting that you disagree with my take a little bit to start the show over here, and that makes me feel better because obviously you've watched him a lot more than I have. Steelers desperately need a number 2 receiver. Obviously, as somebody who closely follows the Jets, you got a pretty good look at the Pittsburgh Steelers a couple weeks back in a really tough loss. See your face over there. I hate to keep bringing it up, but Russell Wilson, it was his first game. Steelers, have a huge second half. They're now 6-2. Are you buying stock in them, or is it maybe a little bit of smoke and mirrors right now?
Well, unfortunately, I would buy stock in Tomlin, which means I have to buy stock in the Steelers because he's one of the best coaches to ever do it. Obviously, his record shows that. I do think that you guys have a very tough stretch ahead. You haven't played any division games yet, obviously. So we're going to see what this team is really made of. I do like what Russell has done so far, but I also like to keep in mind it was against the Jets, who were super banged up as well defensively that game, which is still impressive. Pass defense is very good on the Jets, and he killed them, but then the Giants too. So I definitely want to see him against some tougher competition to see how he does, because Fields got you wins against tough teams. So definitely interested to see how that pans out.
Yeah, I was just kind of anti-switch to Russell Wilson at the time. I give this guy credit.
I stuck by him, Emily.
This side, he stuck by him the whole time.
Mr.
And always
Unlimited.
That's Mr. Unlimited right there, the Subway sandwich king. And, things have been good so far, but I don't think it's too late for the Jets to turn it around, even though I know things are a bit dire over there. Go ahead, Jordan.
Yeah, so let's talk running backs real quick. Have you bought into Najee Harris as one of the top backs in the league after the performance that he had this year so far?
I think he's definitely, he's easily top 10, top 5. I think he's definitely starting to crack into there. I think playing with Russ is going to unlock him even more because he's had over 100 yards with Russ playing those 2 games. So I feel like starting Russell is definitely benefiting him, and he'll start to see more carries, which he already has in the last 2 games. And then he could really get his way into the top 5 conversation.
Wow.
Yeah, there you have it. Well, so you were saying top 10 and has a little work to do to get into that top 5.
Yeah, I think, as I mentioned before, with the competition, the level of competition that you guys are seeing this schedule, the end stretch, how you guys perform there will be very telling as to who he is and who the team is. So just a matter of playing some tougher squads and seeing how he does. Yeah.
So let's switch to the other side of the ball and just talk defense. Obviously, defense wins championships. You know that. Jets on paper have a pretty good defense, but the Steelers, TJ Watt, we always like just to get, I kind of consider you like national media because you're not from Pittsburgh. We always just like to get their take, like how good is TJ Watt? And it never gets old, but like from your perspective, like how good is TJ Watt? Like overall, I'm talking like generational talent. Like, is this something you've never seen before? Or
I think TJ, he got snubbed last year with Defensive Player of the Year. I know it went to Myles Garrett, but honestly, I really think that he should have gotten it. I think he's a strong candidate for this year again. He's just, if you are the focal of the defense, that alone talks for one of the greatest to ever do it. And he is a game wrecker. I mean, whatever he does, he's changing the game. And he's also a guy that's just so powerful. And you got to keep eyes on him at all time. And that says everything you need to know about him.
Yeah. It's just always good to hear because, like we always say, we have local reporters on and just kind of get that unbiased. We like to be considered unbiased on the Sick Podcast, Steeler Crazy, but obviously we have a little bit of Homer in us because it's a Steelers podcast, but we definitely tell it how it is. Before I throw it back over to Mike, let's just talk specifically AFC North. The Browns are the Browns. The Ravens, obviously, I would say, are the pick to win. The Bengals are kind of there. But just talk about like the pecking order and who do you think at the end of the season, can be crowned the AFC North champion?
It's difficult because obviously the Steelers, they're in first right now and Ravens in second, but it feels like everybody is going Ravens way, which rightfully so, because the Ravens, after especially adding Derrick Henry and the year that Lamar's having, they are a tough team to beat. But for some reason, I've said it since the start of the season, honestly, I'm not just saying it because I'm on a Steelers pod, but I've had a very tough time going against the Steelers this year. I feel like you guys are a very well-rounded team. So I would probably put Ravens up top, just trying to be objective about it because of the year Lamar's having. I mean, you have an argument for MVP for Derrick Henry and Lamar. Obviously, it's a QB award. It's not going to go to Derrick Henry, but people are arguing for him, at least Offensive Player of the Year. Two of those guys on the same team. That defense is pretty solid. Their pass defense, obviously, different story. But I would go Ravens, then Steelers, and then from there, Bengals, Browns. I think the Browns are obviously punting on the season, especially after today's trade with Smith and getting rid of Amari too. Again, obviously Deshaun being out. I think they're better with Jameis, but I don't think they're going to make much of the season. And then Bengals, it's kind of been downhill for them since their Super Bowl appearance. I wouldn't put much faith in them, honestly. So we'll see what happens.
I agree with you with the Ravens. I think they're a very good football team. But what I want you to do after you get off our podcast is just go search Lamar Jackson's record against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Yes. And so honestly, Lamar behind center might be better because at the time I think I've watched Tyler Huntley, all their backups. And then when he does play us, his record is he doesn't fare too well. So trying to manifest that. Obviously, definitely, I agree. I think it's going to come down to the Steelers and Ravens. And if, the Bengals can get it together, it just seems like they have a lot of problems over there.
I saw someone, they said if Lamar wins MVP this year, that he'll have more MVPs than playoff wins, which is insane.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I'll pull it up really quickly because I don't know we all have to do our research.
I believe Lamar is in the playoffs. Lamar's 2-4, so he's got 2 MVPs right now. I don't know what his record is against the Steelers. So
so that's what I
think he might have 2 or 3 wins.
I got you, Jordan.
Oh wow!
So he's 2-4, but I think the real item that sticks out is his passer rating in 6 games is 66.8. 4 touchdowns and 7 interceptions in those 6 games.
Ooh,
so it's not something really that honestly people outside of Pittsburgh don't always realize how well the Steelers have contained him. That could change, I think, at any moment, given how good he is. He's going to win MVP, like you said, Emily. Just the season he's having is absolutely incredible. But I'm glad we were able to include that on the show today because I think a lot of people, even in Pittsburgh, are going to find that quite interesting. Can anybody beat the Chiefs? Does this season matter?
Man.
Does anything matter?
I wish someone could go beat the Chiefs so badly. And what sucks is I still am a Patrick Mahomes fan because when you're a Jets fan, you have to start being fans of certain players because it's hard to root for your team given how great they've been. But I do enjoy Patrick Mahomes, but it's just been getting difficult to watch Chiefs ball with the officials and everything that's going on there. And I feel like they are just a juggernaut. They've been so banged up this season and they're undefeated still. Like, it's insane. Every week I say, all right, this is the week. They're going to lose. They're going to lose. And now I'm like, you know what? They might be the first team to ever go and win 17 games because obviously it wasn't a 17-game season with the Dolphins. So I unfortunately, to answer your question, I truly think the only team that could do it would be the Lions. That's really all about it.
Yeah.
That's what I think too. I think it's a Super Bowl, most likely Super Bowl matchup, I should say at this point. Totally agree with that. Hey, this has been so much fun. Give us a full breakdown and our viewers a full breakdown of where they can find you, what you got going on. And definitely want to see you get some jump shots up on that basketball hoop behind you at some point.
Well, if your viewers want to go to my Twitter, where you will see in my bio, it's most unathletic lover of sports. So it looks great, but no shot. I very, very uncoordinated over here. But yes, my Twitter is at msportstakes. I have an Instagram as well. You can find it there in the bio, but I'm definitely heaviest on Twitter. I find that platform to be the most productive when it comes to sports and also the most fun as far as the community goes with sports.
Even during election season?
I'm very excited for today to be over. I'm just focusing on the trade deadline today, honestly.
Same. Yeah. My TV will be locked on NFL Network. I think we can all agree with that. So it's been just an awesome time. Hopefully we can have you back at some point. Yeah. And we always enjoy the takes for sure. We
appreciate the Mike Williams optimism because Mike started off really the podcast started off really somber and you were able to lift that back up. So we're going to manifest that he's a dog. How's that sound?
Yeah, listen, he's great with the jump ball and Russ is great with the deep ball. So it's going to work out. It's going to work out well, unfortunately, because you're an AFC team. So
she's changed my mind. My mind has changed.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys having me.
Yeah, we'll do it again. Have a good rest of your day. Thank you.
You too. Of course.
Yeah, there you have it, boy.
I came on with some heat, didn't I? That
You
was what I
did,
called
like,
for.
fast. I wasn't even expecting that. I was just ready to do the Manta Sleep and the DraftKings read, and here you are just going in on Mike Williams. I'm just happy that, we have, we needed to pull the trigger, even if it's not the receiver that everyone wanted. I feel like Steeler fans, and I'm not putting you under this umbrella, Mike, is that they're never satisfied. I feel like people in life in general just want something to complain about. It's like winning the Super Bowl, but you only won by 3 points.
Yeah.
So Yinzers especially. But
Omar Khan has done a great job. I don't doubt him. And everything that he's done, for the most part, has worked out. So if this works out and Williams comes in and, grabs a few touchdowns, maybe helps the Steelers win a playoff game, unlocks Pickens more, helps everybody else get open, Jefferson, Austin, and Freiermuth, because he can stretch the field. That's huge, and I'll gladly eat my words. They brought him in the offseason, saw something obviously in him that they trusted, and they still do. Fifth-round pick just seems like a lot. I don't know. I'll go through the Steelers' fifth-round picks at some point here and see if who's panned out in the past. But the way he drafts, that's somebody who obviously could be impactful moving forward. Williams is 30 years old. He's coming off major injury. The Jets threw him, to the curb, and so we'll see. I trust Omar. I'm just not sure how much I trust Mike.
I mean, my whole thing is like, do you think it can be detrimental? I don't think that. I think if anything, it's just going to be a catalyst to, get George Pickens and, like she said, have that, deep ball threat with Russ. So we'll see. I mean, it's crazy, man. This bye week, I feel like sometimes the bye weeks can vary. I like this bye week for the Steelers. I think it is going to help them get 100% healthy. Back-to-back primetime games. It's a lot. And I'm never one, Mike, like a lot of people, like I get the strength of schedule and that, but I always say, everyone, you play who's on your schedule. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, me personally, if I'm not playing the best teams, if I'm not playing the Eagles, the Chiefs, that sort of thing, then like, you're never going to know where you're truly at as a football team. If you're playing, sub 500, under 500 teams, and it's like, yeah, he's having a great performance. But like Emily stated, when AFC North, you could throw the records out of the window. You could throw, some of these rivalries, the Keystone State rivalry with the Eagles. Like, it's any given Sunday or any given Monday or any given Thursday, or whatever the game is on. And I think that's what makes the NFL exciting, is that, it's any given day. And we say it's like beating a dead horse. You say it, I say it. You get hot at the right time. Watch out, man. This Steeler team can be dangerous. Now, I'm pumping the brakes a little bit because I want to see, the longevity of it, and I want to see it consistently done week in and week out, something that we didn't see with Justin Fields. Although when she kind of put it into perspective for me too, Mike, when she said he did play, tougher opponents, but I just seen overall from a football perspective, it just seemed to click more with Russ behind center.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right about the schedule. That's something we always agree on. Before the season, what everybody say, this home stretch is absolutely crazy. And it still is, but they get the Browns twice. And they were kind of included in that, that bucket of really difficult games. Don't know how difficult those two games are going to be anymore. It's still an AFC North matchup, and at the end of the day, those are always tough. Mentioned Jameis probably better than Deshaun Watson. But I just, same thing. We saw Patrick Mahomes limp off with an ankle injury yesterday. Things can happen that really alter the state of the schedule. So you take it game by game and week by week. But at the same time, I say we thought the Browns were a difficult game. A lot of people probably thought the Commanders were an easy game, and they're 6-2, and that's not so easy anymore.
Yeah, I mean, it's every game. Like, these guys, you'll hear these NFL guys talk, because like the media people always ask them, they'll say, oh, well, does this game mean more to you? What do you think? Like, I'm like, and they all say it's the NFL. You're talking about the thousands, best players in the world on each team. It doesn't matter. It really is. This is what it is. You just got to show up and play. So we'll see if the Steelers show up and play. That's all we can do.
Yeah, this would be a huge win, and then we'll break it down a little bit more later in the week. So
another great guest coming on later this week, a local Pittsburgh guy. Again, we have national media on here a lot, but it's always good to filter in some local guys and just they're at the forefront of it all. And just like we're at the forefront for your Pittsburgh Steeler coverage, Mike Williams is a Pittsburgh Steeler. Thank
Let's
you,
go, Big
Emily.
Mike. I'm ready for
There
it.
you go.
I'm
Mike
not
and
gonna
Mike.
root for him. Let's go, Big Mike.
Mike and Mike. But yeah, just got to keep up the good fight. And AFC North ball is going to be starting, so it's time.
Right. Let's ride. Mr.
There you have it. Let's ride.
Unlimited.
I'm still sticking by it. No one wanted. We'll end on that note. Russell Wilson, 2024. See you guys.
Wilson.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast Steelers Crazy on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.